try to remember to record the sessions, and then I post them on YouTube as an unlisted recording and then link it in our Canvas shell. So if perhaps somebody has to miss a class, they'll get a little bit of what we did. It won't capture what's done in small groups, and that kind of thing. But, the large group discussions, it will capture. So that's why I try to remember to record. Okay, so then before we go any further, I wanted to give a brief tour of the course so that you know how to be engaging in the course. Really quick, before I dig into our specific course, let me switch what I'm sharing now. That. Um, I've come to learn that not all students know that the most effective way to engage with online courses where you're doing online learning within the course is to have your dashboard set up with card view where you can see all of your individual courses. Those are my courses. And you can adjust that by using these three dots. So ideally, you should have this set up in card view to make life easiest. So anyway, let me go ahead and enter our course. And now I'm going to be viewing the course, hopefully, as you see it. Okay, so typically recent announcements will appear up here at the top. If you want to see older announcements, you can navigate over here. Really on this first page, there's just two buttons. This first button is a Zoom link that will take you to my student support hours. Some people call them office hours, but that means I just sit in an office and it's kind of boring. So I call them student support hours in hopes that students will come and ask questions. So anyway, that's a separate Zoom link. The online class link that you got here is where what we will be using every week. So yeah, those are two distinct Zoom links that will take you to different rooms. Most of the time, you're going to be navigating over here using modules. One thing to point out, well, no, let's just come over here. While that's loading, interesting. What happened to my module 0? Hold on. Let me stop sharing. Leave student view. Oh, well, that's interesting. Huh. Okay. All right. Let me reshare. I guess I'm still sharing.
You are still sharing.
I looked over and there's a green box. I'm like, I guess I'm still sharing. Why is that not showing up? Hold on. Let me reset my student. Let me leave student view. Okay, now. It was because I had been playing in there and it as a student. And when you do that, it remembers your progress. And that's why I couldn't see module 0. So I had to reset myself as a student. And module 0 is now showing for me. Okay. So tonight we are going to do an icebreaker. Um, and you'll go into small groups. Um, Syllabus quiz, you need to earn at least a 12, and there's only 12 points. You can take it as many times as you need to. um, to get your 12. Um, the syllabus is over here. Let me open that, and just a couple of things I want to point out. There's so much stuff we have to put in here. Under textbooks, materials, and technologies, this textbook is an older edition. I can't provide you a direct link to a PDF of it, but if you go out on the interwebs and search for it, you will find a PDF version. It might be a good alternative reference beyond what I provide in class. This textbook here, as another alternative, is an open source web-based one. It somewhat aligns with our course competencies, but not perfectly. So that's why I say it's an alternative. You might find it helpful. Um, but yes, there is no required textbook for the class. Attending class on these Mondays is required. Um, so read about that. Let's see. Of course, yeah, all the instruction will be through modules. There will be 3 exams. Exam 3 really isn't a final exam. It will just follow kind of that final exam schedule. So really there's 3 exams, and you can see the tentative dates there. I will give you more information about scheduling that probably next week, um, so that you can make your appointment to take the exam. There's details about grading, the grading scale. And this thing about makeup exams, the window to take an exam is a week, so you should be able to find a time within that week to take the exam. I don't give makeup exams except in very extraordinary exceptions, which rarely ever happens. Let's see, anything else here I particularly want to point out? AI. I don't, I am not against you using AI. I do use it, but it is important that you use it responsibly. Just like I'm old. How old am I? I graduated high school in 1980, so you do the math. Um, so a calculator was not something that I had when I was going through high school. When I eventually went back to college, it was something that was available, and I had to learn how to use it, and it's a tool. And it was a good tool that helped me learn. AI is the same, it can help you learn, but in the end, you are responsible for your own learning. And if we look back up here, your exams are a significant portion of your grade. So leaning too much into AI uh, can really end up hurting your grade when it comes to the exams, because that would be the instance in which I can really know what you've learned versus what you've pulled together from other resources in an unproctored environment. So AI, if you find it helpful, if you're comfortable, just use it responsibly. And if there's ever an instance where I distinctly want to say do not use I will tell you. I think yeah, that's it. But you need to go back and read through that yourself and take the syllabus quiz. And you should have time. We probably, yes, it's very much like the Wikipedia craze, used with caution. Back when I was doing my bachelor's degree in the 1990 late 1990s, was when Maple and Mathematica, the computer algebra systems, came out. And again, another great tool, allowed us to do a lot of things. But again, you had to use it responsibly. It wasn't a replacement for learning. Okay, so module 0. Um, now I know why I did the syllabus quiz. Okay. Because now I can't get into module 1, I don't think. Let's see. Oh, it let me in. Okay, good. Um, so after class tonight, your assignments are to do the syllabus quiz and then start into module 1. This discussion is a place for you to post questions that you might have, answer questions, that kind of thing. Next we have is materials. This is where the bulk of where the lesson is located. So I'm going to open that. And so there is a notes template on which you're going to take notes. I provide the template to help focus your attention based on the videos. You can download it and write on a tablet. You can print it and write on paper. Um, if you absolutely need to, you can handwrite it out, but you should be writing down the questions, because if you don't have the questions that go with the notes, then the notes are not useful to you in terms of studying. Um, Also, there will, for each exam, I do provide a handout. This is basically a formula sheet. The first part of an unpublished. Okay. I will figure that out later. It's a formula sheet that when you go to take the test, you will be given to use. Um, so that's there so you kind of know what formulas you're already going to have at your fingertips. Um, these are the videos that are going to walk you through this first lesson, and this first this first module is about the logic and the logic of compound statements. So a series of videos. Here's a handout that should be helpful. Let's see if it's also locked in a module that's unpublished. Looks like it's loading. Okay. Why? Let's try that again. There we go. So as you go through this lesson, having a screenshot of this, having it downloaded and available to you is going to be helpful. Um, there are 4 forms of, well, there's an original statement, and then there's 4 alternative forms of that statement. And some of them are logically equivalent to the original and some are not. So the contrapositive, the converse, the inverse, and the negation. So knowing and having those structures available to you as you go through the lesson and through the homework is going to be an advantage. And usually I try to provide little handouts like that. And so you're going to go through these videos and complete the lesson. Once you're done taking notes, then you'll come in here and you'll submit your notes. Your notes are due on, I believe that's a Sunday night, the 31st. And then the homeworks are due on Tuesday, right before class. There's 2 types of homework. Wait for this to load. One is this homework is a document. you print the document, you answer the questions, and then what you're going to do is you have 5 attempts here, and you're going to start entering your answers into Canvas. So while this loads, there we go. Okay. There's, and it's not every question on the homework, it's just some of the questions. And so you're going to go through and whatever, check what you think the answer is. Sometimes you're going to have a drop-down menu and you're going to do like this. Um, most in this assignment, everything is generally multiple select, drop down, but it again is based on that document that was on the front page. The document that is right there. Okay. And then there's a second assignment. It's usually 3 or 4 questions that you're actually going to write out your answers. So I can give you feedback on how oh, of course, I locked it. Um, Hold on. Stop share. Oh, just a moment. I need to unlock it. Save. Okay. Back. Share. 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 Okay. So you should do homework part A first and then come to part B. That's why they're in that order. Um, all of the files that you should be uploading should all be as a single PDF file. And if you need help with that, just let me know. So this is an example of the written homework, and you're just going to do a free response to these questions. Um, so this is available tonight from tonight until right before class on Tuesday, September 5th. Um, Work should be uploaded as a single PDF file. If you haven't done that before, it's pretty straightforward. You click that start button and you can drag and drop or browse or whatever to upload the file. Okay, that's fine. I don't need to save anything. In this first module, there are 2 quizzes, a memory quiz and a statement forms quiz. Both of those you do after the lesson. They're quick, they're simple, they're probably locked as well. Yes. And I believe you can, oh, fine. What was I thinking when I locked these? Clearly I wasn't. Come on. I just want to check how many times you can. Yes, the memory quiz you can take as many times as you need. And I believe the statement forms quiz is exactly the same. Let me double check. Yes. So both of those quizzes you can take as much as you want, get the grade that you want on those, for sure. Use a student, share. Take too much time to change the time that they're available, and they're not available till after class. So as you look at the module, notice the notes are due on, what did I say, Saturday night, Sunday night, Sunday night, and then these four are due on Tuesday before class. As you will read in the syllabus, there are times where there will be extra credit opportunities. Um, oh, um, yeah, I'll have to look at that. Yeah, they should. Yes, but discreetly. Um, yeah, I'll look at that. I'm not sure why. But yes, if you take them, they whatever your highest score, it should replace anything that appears there. Anyway, in the syllabus, it mentions there will be opportunities for extra credit and to watch for those. One of the opportunities is that first homework assignment where you digitally enter your answers. You can submit a written version and earn extra credit. So the worth of the assignment is 0, but as I use this rubric and I review your work, basically you will get 3, 2, 1 points on an assignment that was worth 0 points. So that's how you end up earning extra credit. And there will be other opportunities as we go through the semester. Last thing is, and I publish this now, but I will remind everybody. So on September 2nd, we will meet again and we'll kind of wrap up this first module. After we meet on next Tuesday, you will take a quiz over the module. So this quiz comes after we've wrapped up the module. And module 2 will appear here. Module 2 will appear down here. And there will be a reminder to go back to module 1 um, and complete this content quiz. Announcements, discussions, grades, that's all pretty straightforward. Are there any questions about navigating the course in Canvas? Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. No hands. Okay, I'm done fighting with Canvas. All right, so let's come back here and here. Okay, so we had a little tour of the course. So then, oops. What I would like to do is I need everyone to drop into the chat their name, your full name. This will allow me to take attendance and make sure that everyone is here. So take a minute. Everybody needs to drop in. Oh, that's a good question, Spencer. I missed talking about that. Let me go back to Canvas. Oh, usually Canvas and I are good friends, but I don't know what it is tonight. Okay, student support hours. I have not set those. I need everyone to take a poll. and I will use this poll. I have 3 classes. I'm trying to figure out what times will benefit the most students. So if you click on that link, this is a poll for you to indicate when you are typically available for student support hours. Now, I can be available other hours. Some of those blocks I'm not available, but there are a lot of times where, like, I have a meeting every 2 weeks or I have a meeting once a month. So just because it's blocked out doesn't necessarily mean I'm not available. It means that there is at some point during a month there are weeks where I could not meet at those times. So enter your name and let me know when. I will announce those on Monday after well, actually, I should be able to announce them over the weekend because I believe for my other 2 classes that has to be done by Friday night. So you guys go ahead and do that now while you listen to me. Ha ha. All right. Stop share. Okay. Okay, let's see. And now I want to share over here. And I want to make sure the chat is back open right here. Okay. All right. Now I know everybody that's here. So the question is, how is this class going to go? So every week, this is basically, except for the weeks that we have exams, this is how it's going to go. We'll meet after class tonight. You're going to start looking at module 1. The notes are due on Sunday night. Whenever you complete the notes, Sunday night or earlier, you will start on your homework and submit those before the deadline on Tuesday afternoon, evening. And I will post some homework solutions. Most Tuesday evenings, except for when exams, we'll meet in here, and there basically be 2 parts. And the first part is more optional. It's a question answer discussion period. This is an opportunity for you to come and get things clarified, ask questions, um, those kinds of things. It could be about the module we just finished. It could be about a module before. As you get closer to the test, it could be about any of the modules that you have questions on. Okay. And typically that will run from 5 to 6. Then the second hour of class is required. And this is content. So next Tuesday night, we will delve into the topics of logical statements and do more with it. Do some more question and answer, problem solving in small groups, and that will typically last from 6 to 7 p.m. So now the exception to this is when there is a test. And I will be sure to communicate to you sufficiently in advance that you can make sure. So Cooper, yes. If you are comfortable with the content, comfortable with the homework, you don't have to join until 6, except for those weeks where I indicate you need to be in at 5. And I will. Right. So here's the deal. I think I explained this, I hope, fairly well in the syllabus. It's a 3-credit class. And so I'm trying to balance time commitments. And so the bulk of instruction, like lecture, is in Canvas. and then you're going to do some homework. And then we're going to come back and we're going to discuss. And I found that hopefully this format seems to work well over the semesters that I've taught this class, which I don't know now is 6, maybe 7, maybe more. So it seems to work well, but that's the thing. You need to know yourself well enough that if you aren't comfortable and if you do have questions, to come at 5. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I will be here. I'm not going anywhere. It's whether you decide that you need the assistance. Oh, gotcha. Yes. Yes, you need to be honest with yourself. Taeyeon, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So I wanted to make sure I was understanding the schedule.
Uh-huh.
So, for example, for this week, we will have lectures and we'll have lectures and homework, and that'll be over, I'll say like module one.
Hmm.
Sunday will be Sunday, the notes will be due, and Tuesday, the homework will be due for module one. So the
Correct.
next week, Tuesday, will we be starting module two in that
Correct.
second class?
Right. So after
Okay.
class, I will release, or sometimes it's during class or right before class, I will release module 2 so that after class you can go ahead and get started on module 2.
Okay.
And then that pattern will just repeat throughout the semester.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Okay. All right. So I think we're all good with this slide. Okay. All right. So just a little bit about, I alluded to this before, but what is discrete math? Um, yeah. It's really about 3 big ideas. Discrete math is, for many of us, the math that can be quite interesting that we didn't learn about in algebra in elementary school and so forth. Some of us did, some of us didn't. Um, it is an introduction to mathematical proof, which then means that we have to communicate mathematics effectively. So that's kind of um, yeah, a big. Those would be the 3 big components, I would say, about discrete math. So just to give you a sense of what we mean by discrete math, when we think about kind of the math that we've learned before in our lives, there are things that are continuous characteristics and things that are discrete. And when I think about discrete, I think about things that I can count. So I can count the integers, I can count the natural numbers. If I have a set, I can count the number of objects in a set. So there's lots of things that fall into a discrete category versus things that are more considered continuous. So subjects we're going to cover this semester are logic and Boolean algebra. Some of you may have seen some of this before. My experience is a lot of you have not. Writing proofs, set theory, functions and relations in the context of logic and proof. We'll get to that later in the semester. We'll talk a little bit about probability and we'll talk a bit about graph theory. And then the last thing is algorithm analysis, and this often ends up being an extra credit thing right at the end of the semester because we're running out of time. Okay. That is a really good question. Do the topics build off of each other? In a sense, yes. So we start with logic and Boolean algebra as a foundation on which to build proofs. Um, so when I went through my bachelor's degree, I got a bachelor's degree in mathematics, and I struggled in my very first proofwriting class because I did not have a foundation in logic. And so I was missing strategies that I could use to write a proof that other students in the class had. And so I'll talk a little bit about that when we get to that. But the logic and that Boolean algebra idea are the foundation on which we build writing proofs. And then we do use this idea of writing proofs to then explore set theory, to explore functions in relation, what is required for a function to be a function, a relation to be a relation. It's beyond the horizontal line test, it's beyond the vertical line test. Those aren't proofs. Um, then we'll go into probability a little bit. There's not a lot of proof in that. So the probability and the graph theory are kind of separate from the first four bullets. But I would say the first four do kind of build, and we look at proof in a couple of different settings. I hope that makes sense. Okay. I'm trying to watch the time here. So the ideas of calculus were fundamental to the science and technology of the Industrial Revolution. Um, However, looking forward to the next 20, 50, 100 years, um, many of the ideas of discrete mathematics underlie the science and technology of the computer age. I mentioned graph theory. Graph theory is very relevant to creating computer networks, for example. Um, so we're going to be using some peer instruction. That means you're going to be working in groups talking about the math that we're studying and answering questions, maybe writing a proof. I probably and probably the first week or so we'll have some logic. Most of the proofs, I don't know about that course, will be more math related than more generic, maybe. Yeah. But we will talk about the basics of logic to get us started because that kind of gives everybody um, the same foundation. Uh-huh. No worries. So peer instructive, it will be active learning. We'll take breaks. So if you imagine coming to class for an hour for the required part, I would say you could plan on me talking maybe a third of the time, and probably about two-thirds of the time you would be off in small groups, working and talking, and then we'd come together and debrief, talk about what questions you had based on the problems that I provided. Um, I'm just going to skip this. But it does turn out that people do learn better if they have problems to solve in class rather than just doing homework off by yourself. And so we'll start doing that in small groups next week. This week, you're just going to do some icebreaker questions when you go into small groups. Hopefully, you find the questions fun. Um, they're not terribly difficult. So, that's what we're going to do now. And so, let's come over here. And what you want to do is you want to go to this module 0 icebreaker in Canvas. And then I'm going to give you a password, a passcode, whatever, to get in. So go ahead and navigate there. And then I'll come back over here. Okay. And that's not the right password. I changed it. I grabbed the wrong. I grabbed the wrong PowerPoint. Um, I got to get to where the password is. Hold on just a second. Settings. I'm dropping it in the chat. The password is Jenga with a lowercase j. I got that because I was looking at a Jenga box. Okay, so if I could get some thumbs up that everyone is able to get in to the icebreaker. Okay, all right, and now the magic happens. I ask Zoom to create breakout rooms, and it will randomly assign people to breakout rooms. So I'm going to create them. And yes, so when you go into the breakout rooms, you should have your camera on and your microphone on. And I'm going to guess maybe 15 minutes. I'll set a timer for 15 minutes and then pull everybody back to check and see how it's going. Okay. So 15 minutes-ish. I think there's 4 or 5 questions. They're supposed to be somewhat fun, get to know you type things. So I'm going to open all the rooms. Oops. Cooper, somehow you did not get assigned. So let me get you in a room. Okay. All right. Everyone should be able to hop into a room. Which one you want to do? And then
Hey, sorry about that. My every time I join or try to turn on my camera, it boots me out. Can you hear me?
yep, I hear you. So it's not letting you use your camera.
Yeah, I try to boot it up and my whole Zoom crashes. I don't know what's
Okay.
going on. I'll have
All
to
right.
work on it.
So let me put you back into room 2. Just let the others know what's going on
Okay.
with your camera and then try and figure it out by next week.
Yeah, will do. Sorry about that.
Okay. No, you're fine.
say, should we go ahead and submit?
If you're done, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm hoping that was enough time to answer all the questions and get some thumbs up or something. Okay. All right. Looks like that was enough time. Okay. Well, okay. I'm curious. Just a little bit of a share out in the chat. Which team was your group? Were they Team Even Stevens or Spare Coconuts? Drop it in the chat. Ah, oh, wow. Spares all the way. Wow. Yeah. It looks like there were more Spare Coconuts than Even Stevens. Interesting. Huh. I'll have to pull some data and see. Um, there were 6 groups, so compare the groups to see whether that ended up being 50-50 or not. Anyway, cool. And then what did your group choose as their mascot? Drop it in the chat. Ibex. Wow. Capybara. Screen dragon. Oh, the capybara knows how to work an abacus. A chimera. Interesting. Okay. Well, I hope that was enjoyable. You got to know a few students in the class. When we come each week, um, Zoom has this feature where it randomly assigns students to a group. So it is likely next week you'll be in a different group, get to meet a new collection of students. Um, when you're in Canvas, though, if you look at the menu on the left, there is a list of people. So if you want to connect with some of the people that were in your group today, you should be able to find their name and message them for sure. Okay, well, I'm going to stop class there so you can go off and read the syllabus and take the syllabus quiz and complete to the student support hours poll and just go ahead and get started on module 1. I will hang out here in the room if there are any questions. Otherwise, you're free to go.
Thanks for the class, Dr. Watkins.
Yep.
Look forward
Bye.
to a nice semester with you.
Yes. Thank you,
Yep.
Austin.
I gotta finish that poll now as well. All right,
Yes.
take care. Have a good
All right.
evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
I had one more question.
Sure.
Um, what is it? When I had enrolled, they had said that the exams were in person. Are they
Yeah.
just online? They are in person?
Yes.
Okay, where do we go? Because you had said that it's what is
It will
it?
be in the testing center at GCC unless we have to make alternative arrangements. And you will end up making an appointment and I will start providing that information probably next week so that you can go
Okay.
ahead and make your appointment.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yes, it does. Do you
Okay.
know, are they only during like business hours?
There are, so starting about the time of the first exam, there are evening hours, I believe, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and after or daytime hours on Saturdays if there's not a holiday.
Okay.
I'll
Perfect.
have
Thank
all
you.
of that information gathered, but it usually doesn't start until about around the 20th of around week 3 or week 4.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so
Yep.
much, Dr.
You're welcome.
Watkins. You have a great night.
You too. Are there any other questions?
Professor, I
Yes.
have a question.
Uh-huh.
In my Canvas, some of the module homework are graded as 0. I don't know why.
That's probably something that Canvas already put in. When you
Mhm.
complete the assignment, then it will get replaced. I'm not sure
Mm.
why it has a 0 there, but don't worry
Yeah, there are
about it.
like 4 of those.
Yeah,
4. Yeah.
don't
Okay,
worry
thank
about
you.
it.
Hmm.
Um,
Thank you.
when you complete them, they will be replaced.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got a question. So about discrete math.
Uh-huh.
So what I've understood, it's just solving problems, but trying to prove why are those problems solved in that way, or why is our answer is right.
Um, so for discrete math, we're starting with understanding logic in terms of um, what creates basically a valid argument.
Mhm.
So from that foundation of determining what a valid argument is, then we might then we do go on and start proving other things. So let me think off the top of my head. So for example, we might prove if I know that an integer k is an even number, I might prove that 2 times k is also an even number.
Mhm,
Or if I mean, I off the top of my head, I I had all summer off.
mhm.
It's been a few months.
Take your
Or we
time.
might prove that something is some statement is odd. So like, I don't know, if m is even, then 2 times m plus 1 is odd.
Mhm,
But we'll be using definitions of what it means to be even, what it means to be odd, not like um so there's a difference between explaining why something is true and proving why something is true. And so the proof is just a higher bar in
mhm,
terms of why or your justification.
mhm, mhm,
And then, so once we have these basics of proof, then we're not really solving any problems. We're basically saying why something is true, or sometimes I might give you something that is false, and I'll ask you to prove that it's false.
mhm, mhm. So the scope of that is that we're going to a lower, let's say, no, let's say the basic of mathematics. We're trying to prove why basic of mathematics actually are valid or not.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
And another question, real quick. I'm looking at the logic compound statement notes,
Uh-huh.
and there's a lot of stuff that I don't understand, like P and Q and some other stuff.
Uh-huh.
Is that like a new concept or something we learned through this class?
It's something you learn. Those are statements. And so as you go through the videos
Hmm.
that are in the Module 1 materials, it will introduce all of that to you. And basically, As you're taking notes, you're going to kind of answer the questions that are on there and make any notes that help you remember or understand the ideas.
Okay. And so there is an exam handout. Is that like exam practice?
No, it's a formula sheet.
Oh, okay.
And
So
I just have to figure out what's blocking it from showing.
okay, and I've seen you've added like we could bring notes to the exam. Is that the handout or our notes?
Your notes.
My notes? Okay, okay. Yeah, that'll be it for me. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Uh-huh. All
Bye.
right. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, Professor.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask, based on what we are going to study, will the exam be based on the homeworks and quizzes that you're giving us, or we have to, read materials outside the class to get it?
There's not really any materials out of side of class that I require you to read. Homework and let me think. So the exams would be based on the lessons that are here in Canvas, the homework that you do, and whatever we do in class when we meet on Tuesday nights.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as long as I go over the homeworks and then come to class every Tuesday night, I'm good to pass on the exams.
I can't promise that, but if you make sure that you understand what we're talking about and ask questions, almost all of my students pass the class.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Have a good evening.